Hello, Washington Courthouse. Hello, Washington Courthouse City School District. Blue Line family coming to you live from Belle Aire Intermediate this week for my weekly Facebook Live program. We are traveling around the district each week to give you some news and also to update you on some programs and other things that we are doing in the school district to make our school district the best school district in the state of Ohio. First of all, this morning we had another surprise with some winter weather coming in overnight, and we had a winter weather advisory this morning. So we did call a 2-hour delay. There's always what do we do when it's poor street conditions out there. So we do many things. We send out several people on the roads, myself included, at 5 a.m. this morning to drive the roads to see what the conditions are like. Since I do drive a bus, I put myself in the shoes of a bus driver to see how the road conditions would be for a bus and how the roads react to traveling. We also take into account the upcoming conditions of the day to see what the temperature and the weather forecast is coming up. And we also look at where we're at in the school year academically to see, we really need to be in school learning and the students need to be in school learning. First and foremost, the safety of our students is number one priority. We make sure all of our students are safe, and if we didn't think they were safe, we wouldn't be having school. With that being said, we do have about 65% of our student enrollment is on free and reduced lunch, so we want to make sure all of our students have hot food at lunchtime. We also want to make sure that we're pushing our students to be the best academically that they can. So with all that being said, if we do have to call off, and we're still early in the winter, so we could have some more snow days coming up, unfortunately. But if we do have snow days and your children at home, just realize that we have many programs virtually that students can get on, either math or reading, that they can continue to hone their skills at home. If you don't have internet access or your children don't have internet access for whatever reason, we have tons of books in our classrooms and our libraries. I urge the students to bring home books, to continue to read, practice reading. The best way to get and be a better reader is to read. So when school's off and students are home all day, please encourage your child to read, to go online to the math programs that we provide through the school district, to do flashcards, those types of things. Even for the older students, read, read, read. So with that being said, one of our advocates in the school district for great academics and a teacher at Belle Aire Intermediate is Anne Ginn. She teaches here at Belle Aire, and she's going to be talking a little bit today about a fantastic program that we were able to start here in Washington Courthouse City Schools, primarily at Belle Aire firstly. But she's going to be talking about the first Lego League robotics program. And we had 4 teams compete this year, and I'm not stealing any more of her thunder because she's here to tell us all about it. Anne?
Hi, thank you for having me here today. The Lego League has been an exciting program that we tried this year as a STEM activity. We wanted to get some programming with the kids so that they could really learn coding and make it in a way that it was practical, and in the end they ended up competing. So this is my first exposure to Lego League as well, so I learned a lot with the students. Lego League is comprised of 4 elements. Core values is a big part of Lego League. They have to learn of discovery, teamwork, impact. How will this impact the rest of the world, and how will it impact their families, and how can we share what we've learned? So we did do a family night where everyone could come and see the kids in action, showing off their spontaneous problems and their long-term problem, which was into orbit. Each of the 4 teams had to create a long-term problem that they worked on for several months, along with the final piece, which is the robotics. Now, we were a little behind with compared to the other teams because we had to write several grants to raise money to get our robotics equipment. So I want to give a shout out to Written Industries and PPG who helped to sponsor all of our Lego materials. So once we got our Lego pieces, we'd pretty much finished our long-term problem and short-term problem. We practiced that each time we met, but they then had to program the robot, which I brought a sample here. They programmed their robot, which they first built out of Legos, and then in here there's a brick, which is like a smart computer, and it would take all of their programs. So every task on the board, for example, they did a task where they had to launch the little Lego men down a slide that had to be programmed by the students, where they would start back in home base and it would drive forward and do the task based on their program, and then the robot would come back to them and then they would enter their next program. And so it had to solve all the different tasks on the board, and we went to the competition at Right Pat, all 4 teams. The kids were super excited. The parents, all positive feedback from parents. So I really feel like it's something we definitely want to continue because it was a learning experience for students, parents, and the teacher. The students learned when it didn't succeed, which was many times, they would have to reprogram it, try it again, make slight adjustments on their programming to allow the mission to be accomplished.
That's super. So not only do the students have to build the robot, but then they have to program it through the use of code, computer code, so they're learning skills, 21st century learning skills. So that's awesome. I was fortunate enough to be at the competition, and it seemed like there was a lot of teamwork that went on, a lot of cooperation. The students were judged on, how of good teammates they were to each other, how they worked well together, how they complement each other, all those types of skills. So it was so much more than just Legos, correct?
Right. And their number one feedback from all 4 teams was they really want to work harder to work together as a team, and they need more time to code. So next year we will already have our equipment so we can put a greater emphasis on coding so that they can accomplish more missions.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I really appreciate, Anne, you coming to join us today here and tell us a little bit about the program. I do want to mention one thing to all the people watching. You mentioned right at the beginning of the broadcast, you mentioned that this was a STEM program. For those folks who don't know what STEM stands for, that's programs that deals with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So it's very computerized as well. So we're happy to bring this to our students because this is the future.
Yes, and I do have one more thing to add. I am going to be starting a junior Lego League club. It's going to be an Inspiration Academy in February, and it will go through May with my 3rd graders. And the club began as a STEM club in 2nd grade with Wanda Carter, and now I am bringing the club forward in 3rd grade so that they can continue to work on those same skills.
Awesome. So we're expanding it to more students and getting more of our students ready for the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
And I also want to let all of you know that tonight on Channel 3, which will also be broadcast on Facebook Live here at Washington Courthouse City School Facebook page. The bowling match tonight will be broadcast live so that you can tune in and watch our bowlers tonight. So check back for that later today. Thank you very much, and we'll be with you next week, Thursday, around the noon hour. Have a great day.